To a farmer who's listening to this, be it a vegetable producer in North County Dublin in that belt, or be it a grain producer in the middle of Meath there, or be it somebody up in Louth producing cattle or whatever, do you think there's enough supports put around farmers? To somebody listening to this and saying, yeah, I'd love to do that, I'd love to be producing some product that I can sell, but is there enough support or enough, is the pathway clear enough how to get into that sort of a market?
Not at all is the answer. What's really happening here is that I've seen, particularly you mentioned the vegetable producers, I think they've been treated horrendously by some of the supermarkets out there. These guys invest a lot of money, build packing stations, build washing stations, set the whole system up, and as soon as they have that on the basis of a contract, and as soon as they have that done, then the supermarket pulls the contract away from them, gives it to somebody else, and then creates competition within the system, and it's a race to the bottom on price. Now that is not a sustainable system for building a future, a confidence within farmers, within vegetable producers. And what it will eventually do is it will force us on to the point that we're going to import all these vegetables. That's not the way that a food island should be operating. We need a system where all the links in the chain should be of equal power. That includes the consumer, the processor, the distributor and the farmer. Does
An Bord Bia do enough to create a kind of a buffer zone between the power you demonstrate there of the supermarkets and the producer?
I don't know whether it's up to Bord Bia to do that. I think it's up to, it's up to us all to insist on it. You talked about, the Chinese, they're looking for our products, they're looking for those as quality. You look in Germany, our beef is the top of the shelf, along with Kerrygold at this stage. We need to, at home as consumers, to look on the same basis to say, we want our Irish product there to be the first one we pick. And we want the choice, we want to be able to see it. We also want to see that it's clearly labelled, that it is our genuine Irish product. Because most people out there, I think they believe, and rightly so, that Irish product is at least as good, if not better, than anything else in the world.
We've seen the emergence of a lot of very attractive artisan products recently, and people coming up with these farm kitchen ideas, be it cheeses or sauces or stuff like that, and it's very encouraging to see that. But again, you wonder how tough are they finding it to get on that road, and what supports are in place to show people where you can go with this.
Yeah, I think there's, Leader have done a lot of work in this area and have built up enough. And I was at a food show in Trim there a couple of weeks, or in Kells about 2 months ago, where all these products were on display, and they were wonderful products. But I think it's a difficult place for people to be operating in. It's a difficult, tough business out there. But these are brilliant people who do a brilliant job. Lovely top quality product being sold directly to the consumer. I for one encourage that. Because out of those products, something will click that could become a mass-produced product, which would, lift the dairy industry or the meat industry another step on the ladder. But every section of agriculture is crucially important, right from the organics right to the mass to the some people call them factory farms, but that the full gamut is there of high quality product being produced in this country, meeting the standards way above, exceeding the standards of any other country in the world.
For people who are not in farming, they sometimes find it hard to understand what would be probably thought of as a checkbook or check in the post farming, that you get these subsidies from Europe for not doing farming, for leaving certain fields aside. How do you counter that for the non-farming community to sort of get their heads around understanding how all of that works?
Well, as a farmer or a farm leader, my view is that this money should be paid to people who produce the product, because at the end of the day, that's how the system works. It's all about supporting the marketplace when things get difficult. A year like this, horrendous costs for farmers out there, high costs to run their businesses, looking at much lower incomes on this year. That check in the post is crucially important for them to survive a year like this. That whole system was designed so that we would take lower prices for our food, or the consumer could buy their food at a cheaper price, and that worked. It's been a tremendous success from the point of view that for a very small contribution, we have the best top quality food produced all over Europe, available on a daily basis. Your supermarket shelf has never been empty. That's simply because the support mechanism was put in place. It is a very small cost. Now, a lot of people say to me, it's 40% of the European budget, and it sounds a horrendous amount of money. But you have to remember that agriculture is the only common policy right across Europe. It's the only policy that's commonly supported right across Europe. If you had a common transport policy, if you had a common health policy, if you had a common education policy, the cost there would be horrendous, and it would dwarf the agricultural budget.
So you're a great supporter of the common policy?
Absolutely, we need a support mechanism. That sometimes I don't. I'm very critical of it in a lot of ways because I don't think it's focused in the right directions. But it's an essential support that's there to keep the industry vibrant, to keep it. To keep a drive on it. I think it has held some farmers back and prevent them from maybe expanding where they want to expand. It may have kept some people in farming for too long a period of time because they had a support mechanism to keep them there and they didn't transfer the farms on. But those are issues you deal with, and they're normal issues that society and agriculture has always had anyway.
We're with Eddie Downey, the Deputy President of the IFA. Now, I know you feel that with the whole NAMA debate, the farm element is not brought into it enough, and that farmers, like everyone else, are finding it hard to access funds if they do want to develop any sort of farm-related business.
NAMA, the economy and all the things that's happened to it, I think what we really need to be careful about here within society, and this goes to every company, every business, every shop, every section of the community, is that because we've made mistakes, because we ran headlong with ourselves right through the Celtic Tiger era, we have a financial problem. But that financial problem is now hitting good, solid businesses that need to be given a leg up or a support for a number of years in order to keep them to survive until the economy picks up again. And I think in terms of shoe shops, clothes shops, butcher shops, whatever, right across, walk down through the road at the moment, and there's a lot of business there, and they're under pressure because the footfall inside their doors is not as good as it should be. So they need a support mechanism put in place for them. Farmers are exactly the same. We've had a period of time where we invested a lot of money in the industry. That investment there's a lot of repayments to be made on that. We have situations where some farmers maybe invested off farm, as did other businesses and other industries, there's going to have to be some mechanism there by which they can pay off those loans, but do it over a period of time. As regards getting access to capital at the moment for expansion within the industry, that's a huge problem for people. Now, I don't want to see people getting money just for willy-nilly, just because they think they need it. I think we need to have good, planned expansion of this industry, and it will expand. But that involves the need for capital to be available for sensible development. And you have to prove that you need it first to yourself, then to the bank manager, and then but the banks have then to be accommodating when we get to that point.
It's not easy, Eddie Downey, representing farm families as you have done for many, many years, and hopefully you will continue to do so. We have to leave it there. A final word of hope for those in farming. You can't do anything about the weather, but as you say, if young people are coming into the industry, well, hopefully there is some hope for the future.
Well, I think, Orla, if you look at it, there's a lot of money spent there on machinery and whatever else. So from the harvest point of view, I think if we got a window at all, we'd get it tidied up fairly fast, and hopefully that comes. And maybe an Indian summer is where we want to look forward to. And if we got that 2-3 weeks of good weather, farmers forget all about the bad weather and we get on with the business.
I'm sure you do. Eddie Downey, Deputy President of the IFA, thanks indeed for joining us today. Now, a lot